Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Decomposed body of woman found in Portmore. The decomposed body of a woman has been found in bushes along Dyke Road in Portmore, St. Catherine. The discovery was made shortly before 7 p.m. The roadway had been cornered off by the police and investigators processed the scene. Lawyers to make bail application for Pathways murder accused. The legal team representing Andrew Ruddock, who is accused of killing Tanika Gardner at Pathways International Kingdom Restoration Ministries in Montego Bay, St. James in 2021, is to make a bail application on April 24. When the matter was called up in the Home Circuit Court, Ruddock's attorney Williams, informed the court that he intends to make a bail application. Ruddock is also represented by Venice Brown. A plea and case management hearing is scheduled for April 24. Ms. Gardner was reportedly killed on October 17 during an alleged sacrificial ritual. The woman and a man identified as Michael Brown were found dead on the compound of Pathways International Ministries. Her throat had been slashed. CTOT names wanted man. Detectives assigned to the Firearms Trafficking Task Force of the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch CTOC have named Roderick Davis as wanted. Davis was charged with illegal importation of ammunition, however, he absconded bail. The police say he frequents the Meadowbrook and Seaview Gardens area in St. Andrew and McCook's Bend in St. Catherine. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Roderick Davis is asked to call the CTOC at 876-967-1389, Crime Stop at 311-119 Police Emergency Number or the nearest police station. JFJ calls for CPSE head to be suspended. Human rights group Jamaicans for Justice is calling on the Public Services Commission to act with alacrity in suspending the Chief Executive Officer of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, Rosalie Gage-Gray, from official duties pending the outcome of a comprehensive investigation. This follows a report from the Office of the Children's Advocate on the questionable relationship between the CPSE and the founder of Embracing Orphans Call. The report comes in the wake of public revelations in March 2021 that Carl has had teaching license suspended in Washington, USA, and concerns over inappropriate conduct with a minor in that country. Embracing Orphans had a long-standing relationship with the CPSE to provide transitional facilities for young girls preparing to leave state care. JFJ Executive Director Michael Jackson said while natural justice and due process underpin the need for a full investigation, Mrs. Gage-Gray cannot remain in the position while the probe is conducted. Ms. Jackson also expressed concern about the OCA's report seemingly focusing too much on the CEO of CPSE without outlining which officers were involved in allegations of so-called obstruction of justice. Noting that too many questions have been left unanswered, Ms. Jackson called for a full investigation to ensure accountability on the issue. Ms. Jackson said the situation has raised questions about the level of oversight provided by the Ministry of Youth and whether actions then were sufficient in ensuring that the race issues were appropriately addressed to protect the walls of the state. She noted that it appears that certain structural and institutional breakdowns occurred.
Notwithstanding that due process that is afforded to the CEO, we believe that it is in the public interest for Mrs. Gage-Gray to be suspended pending an investigation, which may or may not result in a termination. Certainly it is dependent on the findings therein. We have read the content of the reports, and we believe that the report leaves several and too many questions unanswered. We hear and see allegations around purported intimidation, obstruction of justice by the head office. From our perspective, we don't know what the head office entails. Who are some of those staff members who are involved and was involved in that intimidation? We asked whether or not the investigation outlined whether or not those persons face disciplinary actions. And based on these questions that we have, we believe that a further investigation by SIFOCA and the police is generally necessary. For example, were there any breaches of the Child Care and Protection Act? And if there were any breaches of the Child Care and Protection Act, does it warrant criminal sanctions against other members of the CPFSA. When we look at the actions that the minister outlined in Parliament yesterday that she took, it involved a sequence of meetings where the CPFSA apparently gave updates. Now we're saying to the minister that notwithstanding those efforts and notwithstanding the findings of the report that suggested that there were instances of misleading information being shared and that information was repeated, we're saying that it's not good enough. The minister and the technical team within the Ministry of Youth that has ultimate oversight of CPFSA should have been a little bit more proactive, because remember, these are grave and serious concerns. So if it is that there are serious concerns about a relationship with someone who is an alleged sexual predator, what mechanisms were there to ensure that the information being shared to the minister was substantiated? What evidence was provided to the ministry to say you are assured that the CPFSA took timely and sound actions?
Reports on relationship between CPFSA and American Carl forwarded to police. The report from the Office of the Children's Advocate on the questionable relationship between Child Protection and Family Services Agency and founder-owned CEO of Embracing Orphans Call has been forwarded to the police for further investigations.
I've also asked of the Permanent Secretary that she use her administrative powers within the ambit of the law. I've also forwarded the OCA's report to the police for further investigation to see whether charges can be laid against anyone who is found to have abused or facilitated the abuse of children. In plain and simple English, I was misled by the CEO of the CPFSA by a failure to report facts to me, despite the many times the CEO reported in our weekly meeting. I say again, the situation is untenable. It cannot be defended. Our duty of care for children in the care of the state can't just be an assessment that the matter did not rise to the level of criminality. In a letter dated Monday, September 2021, the OCA wrote with an update on the investigation to say that her office had been experiencing attempts to frustrate the investigation. In that letter of September 20, 2021, the OCA recommended that in order to avoid any interference, a named manager and a named house mother to be reassigned, as they have been actively reinforcing to the girls that they should not cooperate, and further, that the instruction originated from the CEO of the CPFSA. The OCA advised that given the very high level from which this instruction is allegedly coming from, that any interim manager who is selected for the facility not be from the ecosystem of the CPFSA, whether directly or indirectly.
Jamaicans reminded precious metal belongs to the state. On the heels of this week's dashed hopes of riches from what was believed to be the discovery of gold in Hanover, the Mines and Geological Division has stated that the Minerals Vesting Act conferred the right to all minerals to the state. It says these include metals such as gold and silver, or minerals containing copper, lead and iron, precious stones such as coal, and other industrial material such as marble, high-purity limestone, and silica sand. While the mineral found in Hanover was not gold, but ferrite, a substance of little economical value, members of the public are still being encouraged to report such discoveries to the Mines and Geology Division. The division says it will investigate the mineral occurrence and provide technical and economic recommendations towards its development. It adds that if mineral deposition is developed, the law provides for a share of the royalties payable of the minerals mine to be allotted to the landowner. The division notes that scientific curiosity of the public has led to many important discoveries that have added to the body of knowledge the geology of Jamaica. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell.